One thing that you've talked about is that people might need a booster shot within a year or so of being vaccinated. What is the timeline right now for when people might need to start getting that? Are there people who will need to get it as early as December for the people who
Right.
are the first among to get vaccinated? And do you think that coronavirus shots will become kind of like an annual flu shot?
Well, Yasmin, there are several questions there. I think it's first important to point out that we don't really know when we may need a booster. I mean, we're making extrapolations saying that if the level of protection at the correlate of immunity starts to wane and come down to below or at a critical level, and you may start to seeing more breakthrough infections, at that point, that would be the trigger. But I really don't think it's accurate to say that we will need boosters, X number of months from now. We may not need it for quite a while. We're preparing for the eventuality that we might need boosters. But I think we better be careful not to let the people know that inevitably X number of months from now, everyone's going to need a booster. That's just not the case. We're looking at the different potential scenarios, and what you follow, and we are following people from the original trial as to the level of what we call a correlate of immunity. For example, if the cutoff point of protection is a level of 1 to, let's say, 100 or 1 to 200 of a titer of an antibody, and you're way up at 1 to 2,000, you're in good shape. As the mean of the number of people who are vaccinated start to come down and reach the point where you're getting close to that critical level, then you'll seriously consider the possibility of a booster. But I don't know when that will be, but it would be foolish for us to not at least consider that we may need that. And in that regard, the second question that you asked, which is a reasonable question, which there's no definitive answer for, but you've got to look at the options. Will this be a situation where over the years we may need intermittent boosts? And again, you want to be prepared for that, Yasmin, but you don't know definitively if we'll need it, because you have to put it into the context as follows. When you have an infectious disease and you want to, in essence, address it appropriately, there are three possibilities. One, you could eradicate it. That's a very high bar because we've only eradicated one human infectious disease in our entire history, and that is smallpox, with a highly successful vaccination campaign. The next thing is you can eliminate, and you generally do that by having certain countries, usually with good vaccination programs, essentially eliminate the presence of a particular pathogen in society. We've done that with polio in the United States. We've done that with measles in the United States and other developed nations. So that's called elimination. And the other is control. You have a very, very low level in the community, not enough to be a public health issue, but enough to know that you haven't completely eliminated it. We don't know where we're going to be with SARS-CoV-2 and with COVID-19. I would hope it would be much closer to elimination than just control. That's going to depend entirely on the success, which I believe we're going in the right direction, of the vaccine program. And the more and more people that get vaccinated, and that's the reason why we continue to push to get those people who are reluctant to get vaccinated to, in fact, get vaccinated. Because the closer we get to more and more people getting vaccinated, the more likely you'll lean towards elimination rather than just control.